Hey guys, what I'm going to show you how to do today is program a Wilo Maxo pump so that it can receive a start-stop command as well as a fixed GPM. And the scenario I'm using here is that we have an indirect tank off the boiler that we want to give it that start-stop command, and then we want to give it a fixed GPM based on the manufacturer's recommendations to maximize heat transfer for the amount of BTUs that we have. So you can look that up in their manual. It'll tell you I have, let's say, for example, 199,000 BTUs, and I have this size tank. And in order to get the gallons per hour rise that I need X amount of GPM. So luckily, on my little Lochinvar head here, I have a switch that'll give me that domestic hot water call for heat, or at least fake it. And then on this particular boiler, I have a set of contacts that I can land wires for a domestic hot water call for heat. On this particular board, these are energized, so they're made for a dumb pump just to turn on and off. The Wilo Maxo just needs a start-stop command or a set of contacts. So what we're doing is going to put a rib relay in between that, which I have on the back here. And from there, we're going to wire it all the way back to our pump. All right, in order to get to where you land the wires, you have to pop this LCD screen off. And it's simply two little screws, which I won't bore you with actually doing it, but I want you to know that they just standard screws scroll out and this whole cover pops off. So I'll do that real quick and cut back. So once you get these two screws loosened, you simply pull back on this side and it's tabbed on this side. So it opens almost like a little door. And inside you can see where I land the wires. Now I have these labeled from a previous video. My DI connections, digital input, are my start-stop command. And then I still have it wired up from the previous video for the analog input so it can speed up and slow down the pump based on delta T on my little mock boiler. But for this video, we're only worried about start-stop or on-off. And that's your digital input 1. And that's what we'll be telling you how to program so that the pump knows to look here for that command. Again, we'll just put our cover back on like a little hinge door. And then I will put these screws back in and won't bore you with that. Hang tight. Okay guys, so if you've been watching any of my other videos, you know that Jamie likes to go through a factory reset before he does anything because you don't know what buttons other people have been pushing or what the state of the pump is before you got there. So you might as well start with a clean slate. So I come back down to my little counterclockwise arrow, click my green button. I want to go down to factory setting, reset settings, click factory setting, confirmation. And remember, it always tells you what's going on in the little gray box here. It'll do a reboot and you'll have a clean slate once that starts, and then you'll be able to get your programming exactly where you want it. Start with factory settings, that's us. All right, so we're going to scroll down to our little gear here, click on our gear, set auto control. We're going to go into settings assistant, scroll down to basic control modes. There's a ton of presets in these pumps. You don't need them for this. We're just getting the basic control modes that has everything. We want volume flow. That's where the GPM is, because in our scenario, we want to give it a fixed GPM. Click on that. What fixed GPM do we want? Let's, for this scenario, go down to about 5. Click. Now we're going to back out because we need to get to our external interfaces, which is the digital input 1. Scroll down to digital input 1. So when that set of contacts close, what do we want it to do? We want it to be an external off. Click. Back out of this. Back to our home screen so we can see what's going on with the pump. Right now 0 GPM, 0 foot ahead. 5.7 GPM is what we're going to be calling for. So I'm going to give my little fake boiler head a call for domestic hot water. The boiler will go through its fake little pre-purge and startup. Once it does, it will send some voltage to the pump. You'll see it bounces up there, hunting for its 5.7. Once it finds its 5.7, it'll level out there and stay there. Now you'll notice my head pressure is only 1.7 feet. If you start this up and for some reason this says 0 or 0.1 or something like that, but your foot of head is pegged, you'll get something that looks like this. And I have a valve here I'm going to close so you can see. So I got my valve closed. My head pressure is going to jump up, trying to get to that 5.7 GPM, and it'll give you a little warning, max pump curve. One of two things is probably going on here. One, you have a blockage or a valve closed, or two, you're air bound. So if I open my valve back up, you notice that it starts continuing to hunt for its 5.7 GPM, and the foot of head comes down, and our little error is gone. And that is exactly what we want. So I'm going to turn the domestic hot water call down. When I do that, this little mock head has a delay, a 10-second delay. That's just to clear the heat out of the heat exchanger, which is actually programmable on this one. And once that 10 seconds is over, you'll see that the GPM drops down to 0 and your foot of head drops down to 0, meaning you have no flow, allowing the boiler to go back to its heating mode. All right, guys, that's it. If you guys like to see more subjects or you want me to cover something else, let me know.